Miles Davis is maybe the greatest musician of the 20th century. He's like a one-stop shop for all kinds of music. I love jazz, and I listen to jazz most mornings. I'll wake up and do some reading and have a cup of coffee and put on an album of jazz because it's music that I can listen to while reading. And Miles Davis is my favorite jazz artist because his composition is just so compelling. Like he makes you feel every single note that he goes to. One thing that I've heard a lot of jazz enthusiasts and musicians that he played with say is that they appreciated how it sounded like he always went to the perfect note. Like he always chose exactly the right place to go to next when he was playing. And it was all, of course, improv. But even in his improv, his melodies are so sweet. I think I'd probably say Kind of Blue is my favorite jazz record of his. It's just kind of undeniable. It's one of those records. It's like a Love Supreme where you just turn it on and like from beginning to end, it just sounds like a masterpiece. I also really like Sketches of Spain. Sketches of Spain to me is like a movie. It's like if you listen to this record from beginning to end, it's like you're just getting a whole movie. And it sparks your imagination so much. In a Silent Way is like one of the most important records to me. It just is so moody and there's like a mysteriousness to it. It's just so deep. It's like you listen to it and there's always more sounds to reflect on than you can really name. And I listened to this record probably more than any other Miles Davis record. It is just a total masterpiece. And then also just absolutely innovative, like doing things musically that nobody was doing at the time. And that is like so unique, and still nobody, even like imitators, like even people who kind of make music inspired by this, like me, never quite approach the uniqueness of this record. I also want to highlight Jack Johnson, the perfect fusion record, and fusion being the fusion of jazz and rock. And he really set the template here, because like this is rock, it is a hard rock. I would even call it like a heavy metal album. I think it's underrated as a rock album. Pete Cozy on guitar is like, of course he's not Jimi Hendrix, and the point is not for him to sound like Jimi Hendrix, but like he gives you a glimpse of, like his placement on this record gives you a glimpse of what the Miles Davis Jimi Hendrix mashup could have sounded like, in the direction that they could have gone had Jimi survived and Miles and him were able to do the collaboration that they were planning to do the year that Jimi Hendrix died. Okay, and then finally, Agharta. This is another fusion record. This is a live record. In a Silent Way had come out, Bitches Brew was out, Jack Johnson was out, I think even On the Corner was out by that time. But live, they're doing something totally different. His band is doing something completely different to what they were doing on the record. Live, they were just like jamming and exploring and finding their way to different highs and lows. And then in the studio, they were much more experimental. A lot of it was made by Teo Macero, the musical director and the one who produced and mixed a lot of Miles's records. In a Silent Way is partially his construction, in the sense that he's taking recordings from the studio and like kind of arranging them together along with Miles Davis and structuring them. And so it's kind of made in the editing room kind of thing, whereas live, Miles's band is just like going as deep as they can go and pushing themselves to really kind of open up a space of spontaneity and wildness. And Agharta to me is just the pinnacle. It sounds so larger than life. there are like UFOs in the artwork. And it is very like spacey, it's very psychedelic, but it's all live. They're just, you know, jamming and exploding, pushing boundaries all over the place. So yeah, those are my favorite Miles Davis records, and I highly recommend getting him into his fusion period because it is underrated. Jazz, a lot of jazz people just don't even touch it, and then a lot of rock people don't touch it either. So it's like, it's fertile ground for inspiration.